Welcome back to another Flash podcast.
Savior of the internet.
Yes, of the mixed blend. I am Julia.
It's Black Wheezy.
Darius.
It's just Darius tonight?
Just Darius. And we are here at the Overlook Hotel
And Resort. Yes.
And it is brought to you by Red Rum. It's to die for.
Very good.
So, as far as topics to start out with, I guess I was going to start out with a topic that I'm part of this group on Facebook that it's like astonishing group, blah, blah, of nerds. And basically people just post like a lot of video game, TV show, movie references, stuff like that. Pop culture, quote, unquote, nerdy pop culture shit. So stuff that, if you're into, it's fun. But somebody posted a thing like a couple of weeks ago and it bothered me. Somebody went on there and posted that there's a difference between like nerds and geeks, and how there's a difference between like super smart people and people who are just fanboys. And it angered me because I don't understand. Like, I know that nowadays it's kind of cool to be like nerdy, but I guess the topic would be like, what do you think like defines a nerd in today's world? Or like, who gives a fuck if it's nerd versus geek, I guess.
Well, the first thing you gotta question is whether you're using the word nerd or geek in a derogatory sense.
I just assumed nerd was a mature geek.
Ooh, interesting.
That's literally how I've always pictured it. Nerd is just way more mature, geek is younger.
Yeah. I feel like the word geek can be kind of derogatory, like especially when you're younger.
Well, yeah. Well, I heard geek, and I picture a kid with like pencils in his shirt. And then when I hear nerd, I think of Bill Gates. I think of you guys.
Cool.
Gotcha. Well, I guess
I like that.
That's
Geek is the coming of age nerd.
coming of age. I guess it's just, there's a lot of, like I said, and it's cool to be nerdy now, so it's hard to, like, you can't necessarily say that, like, oh, because you're into superheroes or you're into comics or, like, the cliche shit it used to be. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I like what Donald Glover's stand-up says. He has a whole thing where he talks about how he's a black nerd, blah, 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 but he says that what makes you a nerd is a very specific, like, obsession over, like, a thing that you, like, nerd out on. And I like that definition, but then I think that literally anybody could be a nerd about anything. Like, somebody who goes to the gym is a gym nerd.
Then
Right.
wouldn't geek be the verb of nerding? Because if you geek out on something, you're repetitively doing it.
I would
As
say
nerding is obsessing over it until you're good at it.
Geeking's like acting on it,
Yeah.
I guess.
And I mean, that's why I think
We're using them as verbs.
Yeah.
that's why I kind of think it matters, in what context you're using the word.
Like, do you guys consider yourselves nerds?
I don't. No.
You don't consider yourself a nerd?
No, because I don't consider myself labeled for liking something. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think that I should be called a nerd because I like comic books. I also like fighting. I also like doing hood shit with my friends.
You could be a nerd
I don't
on that.
qualify myself as a nerd, but to trend to be a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not as... When the words were made, though, it's like it defined who you were.
It was kind of meant to be insulting.
And it's almost like it doesn't really get used in real life as much as I see it get used in like old 80s movies and shit. Breakfast Club is the definition
Exactly.
of the way it's supposed to be, where one person is something, one person is something else because of high school standards. And I want to think once you reach outside of that realm, it no longer matters anymore if you are a nerd or if you're not anything. Because I don't consider people who used to play football in high school who doesn't play football now as jocks, even though they go to the gym all the time. So if you go to the gym all the time, you're still a jock. So if you're a nerd back then and you did nerdy stuff and you got straight A's and stuff like that, and now you're out of school, you're still a nerd.
Sure.
You can't put one on the other without putting the other.
Yeah,
Sam?
It's not right.
Sam says, I consider myself nerdy in some sense, but I wouldn't label myself as a nerd.
Shout out to Sam.
Shout out to Sam.
Thank you.
I would kind of agree with that. I think it's hard too now, like I said, because, it's cool to be a nerd now. Like, because everybody that was a kid in the 80s that, like, was bullied in that cliche way, they're all grown-ups now.
Well,
and so they've made everything mainstream that they were into.
My thing, too, is that, like, Joe isn't a nerd because he's knowledgeable over the things that kids nerd out on now. Like, if you know about the Thundercats and things like that, you're a nerd. But Does that make you a nerd, or is it just common knowledge? That's why I say it's
Right.
That's why I think it's a age thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's a generational thing too.
Absolutely
I mean,
generational.
so you figure, 20, 30 years ago, those words were generally used to insult you, put you down.
Right.
But now you think it's finally cool to like comic books, and it's the popular thing, and it's the thing to do anymore. So what would all right, here's a question. If we think about what people said or people thought a nerd or a geek was 30 years ago, what would the equivalent of that be today?
People who, I would say, like, a socially, like, inept person. And not to say that, like, I mean, to an extent, consider myself socially awkward, but I'm also pretty outgoing. But, and I'm not saying that people that are socially awkward or have, like, anxieties or something are, like, something to be down on. But just those people that kind of just don't really get it when they're in social situations. Like, they can't, I don't know, like, they swallow halfway through their sentences. And you're kind of like, well, I mean, you knew you were going to talk. Just
Right.
swallow first. Like, stuff like that. I don't know. I feel like there's just, like, the people that they almost can't adapt to, like, a surrounding because they're a little too shut off. I mean, I guess when I work in tech support, I think of people that I define as, like, just nerdy people in general. Like a guy that I worked with at MediaCom who, we were allowed to put pictures and decorations up on your desk, and he had printed out pictures of himself that he photoshopped onto Superman's body, and that was what he, like, decorated his little, like, cubicle with, and I always thought that was fucking nerdy.
Respect.
I had pictures that, like, I drew, and other people, like, drew for me, but never, like, of myself. I don't know. It's just, I think everybody has, like, a different definition, and I personally get annoyed when people define themselves in that way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I would say what would it take to be that social outcast today? Like, I mean, specific traits.
Social outcasting, though, is a little bit more different because normal people are, like, doing it just based off their own, like, preference.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like people are socially outcasting people as much anymore, obviously, because of the way things are. And I think, like people who want to be socially outcasted outcast themselves socially.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
As opposed to, like, I mean, when we were in school, we were social outcasts, and there's a reason that all of us are friends.
True.
In the sense of the people who are listening, who probably knows what I'm talking about, like me, you, not so much Marky, because Marky wasn't in school with us, but like me, you, even when Greg was around, Steve, everybody who was, like, affiliated with us now, Jason, things like that, we were all socially outcasted, so we became friends based on that. And we've even fought for that.
That's true.
Like, we had to fight because we shouldn't have been friends in a weird way. So
yeah, I mean, it was weird,
it's like when
black guy and a white guy, they're best friends.
they had that, like, when I got into it on the Lincoln page, like, everybody was like class of 2011, 10, 9 or something, and then they're like, we're gonna start this Lincoln page. I was like, it's one of the memories about Lincoln. And I was like, the school was fucking segregated as fuck. And everybody was like, no, it's not. And the only ones who were saying no, it wasn't, were popular kids.
True.
Because they didn't have to experience fucking social outcasting. And I don't think so much, like, it's a thing now, because it's almost, like, trendy to kind of be outcast.
Oh yeah, because everybody wants to be edgy and individualistic.
Yeah, like, it's trendy. You don't know what it's like. It has to be fucking straight up, like,
be beat up for who you are every day.
You niggas suck. Like, yeah, nobody's had to do that anymore.
Right.
At least from what I've seen too much. And, there are people who have been socially outcasted because of certain things, or it leads up, or somebody being bullied, and then, it leads to whatever.
Right. I mean, and I don't.
Hearts out to the victims of people who have been socially outcast. But I also think now you can be, like, outcasted successfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you're outcasted to the point where you don't suffer any type of abuse, but you're just kind of comfortable in that area and everybody else is comfortable with you being kind of outcasted in a way, I'd say that's pretty successful.
I personally, kind of changing subject, but staying on that same topic, don't like when, like, I don't mind the whole social outcast thing. I don't think I ever considered myself an outcast, but I definitely considered myself kind of a loner. I never really had a group of people, like a solid group that I, like in high school especially, that I really, like I had friends kind of, I had like a group, but we were kind of like picked from different groups within a school, I guess. And like, I don't know. Right. I get annoyed when people wear certain things like as a badge of honor, but again, they kind of gave it to themselves. Right. My specific example that I hate is when people use the term, when females use the term gamer girl. I literally cringe physically. It bothers me so fucking much because like you can be into video games. That's great. But as soon as you put this label on it to like make it something hip or make it like yeah, it's just, whatever. Like it just, I don't know. It just pisses me off. I'm like.
So do you hate the fake gamer girl or do you actually hate gamer girl? Because
no,
you guys are a subgenre.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So like the example I would give is, as always, Cassie. Cassie is, shout out to, but she never really was into video games. Like I've played video games like my whole life, like here and there, but I've never, I don't know, she never really got into them. Then she like dated a guy and, through doing that, she got into him. So now she really, really, really loves the games she likes and she'll play them to completion and she'll talk your fucking ear off about them for hours if you bring them up. But she doesn't have this huge, vast knowledge of video games where she's going to be the one to start that conversation with somebody. She's not going to be like, yeah, I play games. What do you like to do? Like she's more like, I like Fallout. Do you like Fallout? Or like, I like this game. Do you like this game? And I guess I'm somewhat similar because I haven't played a shitload of games, but I've played like long enough to at least like know. I don't know. I don't call myself a gamer or a gamer girl because I'm also not necessarily good at them. Like it's not, but that's not really the point.
Right.
And I think that's what bothers me too, is that all of a sudden you're like trying to put yourself in this weird league. And it's just a lot of the time I don't like when girls call themselves. I think that if you refer to yourself as a gamer girl, shut the fuck up. You're really not. Even if you are, I just don't think that you are. Or you initially started doing it for a completely different reason. Or like you want to have a fucking YouTube channel where everybody watches you in your makeup play video games.
Right. Like I'm not a gamer guy.
You're just a gamer. Or not at all. I play video games.
Yeah, I play video games casually.
Yeah.
I think gamer girl is a very empowering subgenre that should be referred to in that light.
Really?
Yes.
Elaborate.
Please.
Because the original gamer girls were on G4 and were on Attack of the Show.
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah.
Shout out.
And they were called gamer girl as a move for empowerment, not because it was like trendy thing now. Like gamer girl memes and stuff like that, or women with like huge tits and makeup and stuff like that. But like the original, like when it became a thing to be called gamer girl, were like this awesome group of fucking like basically women nerds, to use that term, who were like, we can play just as good as guys. Basically, it was kind of like a feminist movement. So I think that the term gamer girl shouldn't be offensive. I think the people who are using it should be offensive.
Right. I would agree with that. That's a very good point.
So when I hear gamer girl, I think of like legit gamer girl.
Right.
Like
Aisha Tyler.
And that's the sense that that's the context I would use it in. Because I mean they were a thing. I mean they're still around. They kind of hit past their peak, back in the day, but I mean, kind of like you said, the broads, they prop their tits up and put thick frame glasses on, and they put a PlayStation controller in their hand when it's an Xbox in the background and say they game. It's.
But I also think that on a feminist perspective, again, I see entirely what Darius is saying, because it is very annoying that it's like male specific to play video games when I've personally just known a ton of chicks.
It is though. That's like I can't really. I mean, yeah, the feminist aspect of it comes into play because it's like we should be able to do the same thing and have the same label. Yeah, but also feminists are the ones who made the label.
Right.
So like my whole thing is that's like being upset that there's not enough white people in basketball.
Sure.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Gaming isn't a woman-dominated thing. It's just not.
No, I understand that.
That's why the subgenre should be so powerful.
Well, that's why it's even possible to be annoyed at the people that feel like they have to call themselves a gamer girl to get attention.
Yeah, and like I mean,
where does it stop becoming a movement and become equality?
It just and it just depends. Like if I don't call Cassie a gamer girl.
Right.
She's just a gamer to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if she was to embrace like the naming of the perfect example of gamer girls is if you look on Marky's Xbox Live page. Shout out to Marky. He is like the full physical empowerment of girls playing video games.
Yeah.
On his Xbox.
Yeah.
He's like all about it, and he's like really all about the fact that a woman can beat you in Gears of War and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
he's like the number one. Yeah,
it.
he's the number one embracer of it. And
where's Marky at?
And it should, and that's how it should be. Is that it should just, but to Marky, you know, they're his homegirls or they're just gamers to him. But in the back of your mind, on a sub-jobber tip, they're also the gamer girl thing, and that's why I can't be mad at the name because it just sounds empowering. To me, anyway.
I think it sounds cringy, but it's also because I guess it's a different perspective that I, having never on my own defined it as that, I've had it multiple times where I try to find common ground in a conversation saying, yeah, I play that game, or I love that game, or whatever, and I get responded with like, oh, you're a gamer girl. And it's just weird that, like,
yeah, I mean, it's
not empowerment if I feel like I get what you're saying. I just feel like if it has to be broadcasted, that's where, again, it stops becoming a movement and starts becoming...
It's attention seeking.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, but that's the separation because feminism alone is attention seeking. It's the focus of equality while only focusing on one group.
Right.
And, so, yeah, it's just the same concept. Like, I can say, oh, you're a feminist. And they'll go, yeah. Or I can go, oh, you're a feminist.
Exactly, it's tone of voice.
It's tone, and I think that's where the line of gamer girl gets crossed. Is that, like I said, most people don't know like the empowerment behind the whole subgenre and culture of it. I would probably do a documentary on it, but
I think you brought up Attack of the Show. That was a good drop.
Yeah, so like, and that's where I was watching when gamer girl was getting popular was Attack of the Show and shit like that on the G4 network.
And, great network.
Yeah, and so
shout out G4.
When you go, you're a gamer girl. No, like. Just because you like take filters and take pictures with controllers and your boyfriend plays Modern Warfare 2, that doesn't make you a gamer girl, and that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
And that's the point you're coming across. But you as a gamer girl should, like, oh, you're a gamer girl, and you should be like, fuck yeah, I am. To empower the ones who actually are.
I can see that. I agree with that.
And with the empowerment,
change my mind.
Because if you let people activate it,
then it gives them the power.
Perfect example is Stefan. Shout out to Stefan, my main guy. Stefan said, how do you not, that chick whose dad like outcasted her because she didn't go to prom, or she went to prom with that black dude.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And it's like trending or whatever. He like it like ruined it, upset him, and he's just like, how do you not get upset by these things? And I'm like, you know what? If I let it upset me, then
there's the power.
Then that's what it is. If you start, you
lose. You gotta get upset.
Cheer on to the chick. You know what I mean? Cheer her on. Be optimistic in the situation. Like, oh, this dad's racist and he called him a subhuman and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, but what about the chick who's like didn't give a shit and still took the dude? What about her? Fuck what the dad said. Who cares? Support instead of hating what the dad said. Support what the woman did.
Ooh,
true.
That's
like the most feminist thing, I
think. And that's where the line gets crossed on what you let bother. I have one.
Exactly. Like
so
if they jump straight to
the dude called black people subhumans. Yeah. Okay, the black dude's also fucking his daughter.
Exactly. So who's the winner?
Who's the fucking winner here?
Yeah.
Black people. Why are you mad at that? Oh, what? Some old dude. You know what I mean? Like it and it's not like Stefan, if he has a right to be offended on his own terms, then yes, he does. I'm not disclaiming that in any way whatsoever.
Right. It's just why you don't get offended.
It's just and that's just the way. It's the same result with being, the gamer girl. Embrace it, body check them, make them feel stupid.
Yeah.
Like, are you a gamer girl? Yeah. Oh, and then there's no backup quality, and it's like, oh, so do you? And then they're gonna ask, do you do the Twitch thing with women with big boobs? So they've acknowledged that there's not the trend.
Yeah.
And you're not part of that.
Attention seeking.
So if the guy already knows, then why is he making the joke? So not only have you won, not only have you empowered yourself, now you've also made the man look stupid. And that's 3 things that feminists are probably looking for the most.
Bravo.
So
feminist rant 101. No, and I definitely agree. When you put it in that perspective, what comes to my mind is what I've talked about 1,000,000,001 times is my love of the word cunt. Because to most women, it's fucking kryptonite. Like, it's the one word that you can't be called. And it's like, why? It's not, like, it's all about context. Like, if someone's going to call me a bitch, why does it make a difference? Like, if I put that power on the word cunt, then that means that I put that, like, secret weapon in their back pocket. And I don't know. I think you and I have had that conversation, too, where you've said the same thing with the racism shit, where it's just, like, it's all about the power that you give it.
Yeah.
No, that was an excellent
point.
Like,
Joe, his ex hated the word cunt. So what does Joe do?
Call
Puts
that.
cunt after every sentence.
Exactly.
And starts calling everybody cunts to the point where
Right.
it doesn't matter anymore.
At that point, it's adapting an evolution.
You know what? Women get mad at cunt, but I've had more white women call me nigga than I've had them call me cunt. So, I mean, and to me, I really don't care when the word's being said or anything like that. Once again, I know I come back to race, but it's one of the things that I can bond with the most because it's the number one thing I've had to deal with in my life. But at the end of the day, it's just...
A word.
Yeah, you know.
And it's all about what they're saying behind it. They can call you, like...
They're calling you
a
cunt to
floopy
win.
flap. But, like, if they say it because they want to fight you and they hate you, who cares what they just said? You know what they meant.
Yeah, they're calling you a cunt because it's winning and you've let them win.
Right.
You've been trolled.
Exactly.
Real life trolled. So, you know, I don't know. I think that, like, man, I don't know, man. I'm just in a weird place in my life where I'm just like, I really don't care about certain shit that I probably should. But the bigger picture aspect of me and human nature just, like, I think it's tacky when, like, white dudes say nigga all the time. But then again, my friends say it, but I say it to my friends. And the way I say it to them is the utmost respect.
Right.
Like, and they say, like, my friends have never directed me as a nigga. And that's,
Right.
I think that's the difference.
It is.
Is
Context.
Is like, I've never been, no, I can't say directly because if you're saying it, that's directly. I've never been indirectly referred to as one.
Right. Like, it's a term of endearment.
Like, you can call me, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, you're my nigga. But when you're like, fuck nigga or something, you know what I mean? And that's
Exactly.
That's the social media people of this world. Which is a big problem too, but I mean, everybody in this group, we were at the peak of when social media started, but we were also at the peak of when it was like, when normal social skills were like ended. So we were there for when you didn't have to follow certain shit that gets put on Facebook or anything. Like, if you wanted to find out about somebody back in the day, you used to have to put them on three-way calling and tell them to shut up.
Exactly.
While the other person called the other person. Nobody does that anymore. You
Like,
just get slapped in a group chat and everybody's just got this whole fucking...
People have never even seen the mute button on their phone before.
Yeah. Who's that extra? Is somebody breathing? Am I on a speaker? Like, yeah, I gotta ask that shit no more. You ain't gonna be scared of it.
Mom, get off the phone!
You don't know social fucking anxiety until your girlfriend calls and you don't realize the phone that should be in the living room is downstairs with your brother.
Cody did that shit to me all the time.
Yeah. Marky be like, y'all gonna fuck? On the other line, get off the phone! Like, yeah, you ain't got that no more.
Well, shit, Cody would just sit there and listen. Like, he wouldn't say
It's
anything.
creepy.
He'd just listen.
It's weird. Yeah. I'm into it though. Whatever.
I'm into
I'll
it.
listen to a conversation.
Shout out Cody.
Shout out Cody, creep. Little bro.
We miss you.
Oh, man. Glad I'm an only child.
Yeah, so either way, embrace Gamer Girl for what it is. Don't discredit it for what it isn't.
I will. Change my mind.
My motto.
Good.
Yeah. Well done.
All right. All right.
Outside of that, though, the thing I wanted to talk about is
Segue.
the come up of Donald Glover.
Yes.
He's on the rise. He has to be stopped.
No, he can't be stopped.
Can't be
He
stopped.
won't be stopped.
If you haven't watched ATL, or not ATL Atlanta,
Is it on Netflix?
Put it on your
No,
put it
but-
on your to-do list.
don't worry. I got it.
We'll learn yes.
Have you seen it?
It's fucking great. It's really good. The show's really, really fucking good. He got booked on for his season 2. Those of you who don't know Donald Glover by his, I don't know, I guess the government name, what he has to go by when he's producing, but Childish Gambino, his show Atlanta is fucking great. And then I read today that he will be a couple things that I want to bring up in my, like, ghetto news, I guess, if you will. One of them being that Donald Glover will be, and Sam, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure you'll want to have an input on this, and the messengers, he will be the showrunner, him and his brother, actually, so shout out to putting your brother on also, but him and his brother will be the showrunners of the animated Deadpool series on FXX.
Yeah.
So they did an adult Deadpool animated show where
And they won't
he is the
censor
showrunner,
it,
which
right?
means which he is the producer and the writer.
Ooh.
And if it's anything like Atlanta, it should be good. And then also, the rumors of Lil Wayne signing to Jay-Z's label kind of make me happy.
Yeah, I want to wait to see what happens after he's actually signed, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Give us the Carter 5. We're waiting.
What changes is Rockefeller going to do?
They're really big. If you want to know what changes, is freedom control. J. Cole, a lot of people don't realize, is signed to Rockefeller. And he drops albums the day he wants, the way he wants. Jay-Z has never produced any of his tracks on his album.
No.
It's complete freedom. And that's what...
Not many people have that.
And that's what Lil Wayne needs. Complete freedom. So when he had complete freedom and he was dropping fucking mixtapes, it's some of his best work.
Well, yeah, but
I put you onto his mixtapes.
Yeah.
And you never thought you would listen to Lil Wayne.
No, and I still don't even agree with myself for enjoying.
He hates every
Lil
minute
Wayne.
of all that he loves about it.
I remember.
I love to hate it, and I hate to love it.
I was like, listen, I'm not a human being. And then next thing you know, we're listening to...
The Zoo.
Yeah, the Zoo.
Mac Main.
Fire.
Shout out.
But, no, I think that it's good that Childish Gambino is doing all this shit and Jordan Peele's doing it too. Like, these funny people...
Yeah, he's doing a lot.
Like, yeah.
Get Out was fantastic.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize
It
that
was
was him
fantastic.
until I saw it. And I didn't realize that he's married to, what's her name? Have you ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
That chick? I didn't realize that he was married to her. What is her fucking name?
Which is awesome.
Yeah. She's
Like,
so,
good
like,
for
deadpan
you.
and bitchy. I love it.
I like her.
Like, her stand-up is
Good for you,
just
Peele.
exactly that character.
Yeah, so, like... I don't know. It's like the slogan I always want to use when I just see these two just doing this shit is like,
Chelsea
motherfuckers
Peretti.
never loved us.
Chelsea Peretti.
Yes.
Yeah, she also had like a thing on Vine when Vine was still a thing where she would like just film herself like filling up gas and she'd be like, this is my California, because it was like a trend that was going on where people were like showing them doing glamorous shit like, this is my California. So she's like sitting on the toilet like, this is my California. Like, she's fucking funny.
I like her. Oh yeah, I'm just happy to see like...
Number one, Deadpool coming up to begin with. That's awesome. But Donald Glover being behind it.
That's pretty great.
Like, who in a million years would have guessed that would happen?
Yeah.
Not me.
It's on the... These comedians are on the rise. Jordan Peele said that he plans on doing like 7 movies that are all based off like social awkwardness.
Oh.
So like Get Out was the first one, which was racism.
Yeah, black and white stereotypes.
Yeah, and then...
I hope he makes a badass feminist movie.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Like a good one.
With his wife at the helm
Yeah.
helping him too is like, you know, that could go really good. So it plans on being like to hit all these like random subjects to that.
What else would there be? 7 of them?
He said he has 7 lined up. If any of them are as good as Get Out, then
I still haven't seen that.
Then I'll go see him.
I'm excited. Because
Yeah.
Get Out was actually good.
I loved it.
I watched it. I also watched it
TS
with a white
motherfucking
girlfriend. And just kept looking at her like, bitch, let me find out.
A. Sitting with milk.
Yeah.
Milk in
That
bed.
was-
And then, you know, the actor who I got to give a shout out to is on the rise. Let me find his name right quick.
Really quick sidebar. Speaking of how funny Chelsea Peretti is, I recently was reading a thing on like one of the Snapchat like things, like little channels, and when she was asked about like the success of her husband's movie Get Out, she said, you know, there's been a lot of hard nights. It's hard to make like that gripping of a documentary. So basically saying that it was based off of him and her's relationship. I thought that was entertaining enough, but I haven't seen the movie. So.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just a million white stereotypes,
That's
and
awesome.
it's hilarious.
That's great.
Hilariously
Stereotyping
accurate.
white people. Yeah.
Keith Stanfield is the actor.
Okay.
And he was in Get Out. He played Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's the stoner dude in Atlanta. And what else? He was just in something recent. He's in Death Note. Like, he's on
What?
the fucking up and
Who's he playing in Death Note?
No, he's on the come up.
What's he playing in
Death
Death Note?
Note.
He was the rapper. I don't know if anybody's seen that movie, Short Term 12. Like the
Uh,
kids in like the like orphanage youth counseling thing.
it's-
One sec.
it's
lady, I'm
vaguely
gonna get to
familiar.
it. Yeah, he was a rapper in that. He was in Snowden. He was in Dope. I don't know if you've ever seen Dope,
Was it dope?
but it was fucking dope. It had A$AP Rocky in it.
Okay.
Basically, like
Oh,
these.
it was on Netflix, isn't
Yeah,
it?
these like hipster kids who like 80s.
Right.
They're a rap group that likes 80s rock music, so they like do grunge, like super pop rock thing.
Cool.
And they wear like shorts and flat tops, so they dress like an 80s rapper, but they do 80s rock. and then they like end up having to sell Molly, and then the dude from Workaholics is in it, and he tells them like the best way to do it is using bitcoins, and it just blows up into a huge story too. But he was in Dope. He's on the rise, and I'm pretty happy that he's on the rise because he's a fucking good actor.
So that's a good person to like follow.
Yeah, Keith Stanfield.
Shout out Keith.
He's playing L.
He's playing L?
Yeah.
Really?
That's literally the lead. Like there's like the guy that you follow, and he's playing the guy that chases basically the serial killer of it. Really?
He's on the rise. Like I said.
That's fucking crazy. I'm so happy about that.
He's on the up and up.
Now I really want to get into his other movies and like him a lot before that comes out.
Fuck yeah.
That's wow. What a great thing to hear. I'm so excited. Do you think people are gonna be pissed off and like because they can't say it's whitewashing?
There will be some faction of
characters
like
like
fans
super
that'll
Asian
be
dudes.
blackwash it.
Blackwashing. Nobody's gonna say anything.
They're like, we'll let this one slide.
Like he's not.
Matt Damon.
It's fine.
Matt Damon on the Great Wall is way different than some black guy playing somebody named L. It's like, yeah, we'll let it. We'll take the L for this one.
Literally.
If they were
like people like starting to get upset and then be like,
okay then.
Like, do you want that next?
If it was really about that life, they would drop a blackwashing thing, but
that's what I mean.
I don't believe in whitewashing. I believe in money.
True.
And that's what has to be done.
There was a video that was shared to that same group I was talking about earlier that like was asking like Japanese people. I mean, okay,
Speaking
great.
of money,
I am too.
I'm just saying, they're pretty fucking hateful people.
Yeah, they are. They're rude. But
nerds are like the KKK of comic books.
True.
But they shared a thing where they were talking about whitewashing, and they were just like interviewing like random, I guess, Japanese people about it, and basically, like they were all just kind of saying like, well, I mean, look at the characters. They have blonde hair, pink hair, green hair, like yellow eyes, like all this shit. They're like, it's not really an art style that's meant to be race specific necessarily. It's like, you know, there's tentacles. Like some of these bitches are like androids. Like, is it whitewashing, or is it just like if you're an Asian artist, like you draw what you know and you like whatever, not a whole. I mean, it just, yeah, I get what they're saying. I just thought that was interesting though, that it's just kind of like people. It'll be as big of a deal as people want to make it. But agreed. I mean, I do have an issue with the Matt Damon thing because that's just stupid. Like, that I don't understand.
Is Matt fucking Damon? He was in the Great Wall.
Yeah.
He's not the savior.
You out here.
Like, you can't know.
I never even saw the Great Wall, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, and that's why, like, I understand it to an extent, but, like, I was even talking about, too, that, like, there's a Harry Potter Broadway show, because of course there fucking is, and they casted a black woman as Hermione Granger, and people were, like, freaking out about it. I was like, calm the fuck down. Like, just because a movie franchise was made that, of course, used, like, all white people.
Right. They assumed they were white.
Right, and then that's where, like, it's just, and then the same thing happened, I think, with the Hunger Games. Like, I think Rue wasn't specifically black in the book, but then they made her black in the movie, and people are like, ha, why? It's like, why the fuck not? What does it matter? Who cares if Katniss was made black? Like, what difference to the story does it make?
Rue's
at all?
Sure, you're reading those out. Some of them.
Again, shout out to Sam, Jace, Tommy, commenting, giving us some shit to talk about.
What are they saying?
Jace comment?
Yeah. Jace wants Get Out 2 to happen.
I actually read that there's a sequel. I also read Stranger Things and Get Out are in the same universe.
Really?
No, sir.
Yeah. That's like the new, like, conspiracy. I don't want to say, like, conspiracy thing or whatever, but that's kind of basically what it is.
I like that. That makes me happy.
Sam called me racist.
Yeah, Sam.
It's not that I'm happy because he's black. I'm just happy because, I don't know. It's like a familiar thing, I guess. Yeah, sure. And because of Asian people? Is this Tommy?
Tommy, what about Asian people?
Theory.
Elaborate. Sent from Android. Commenting on your phone. I see
Typical.
you, Tommy.
But yeah, I just think that, I mean, I know you say you don't believe in whitewashing, but obviously it happens.
Yeah, but, I mean, to what extent? Like,
I agree with you there, too. Like I was saying, like, it's just,
Like
certain roles though are very obviously like.
My problem with it is that with anime subject, it's just like, okay, the best way to look at it is that if somebody was like Rosa Parks,
nah, Rosa
you're
Parks.
not gonna have Hilary Swank play Rosa Parks.
That one video, the Michael Jackson
because
guy.
Rosa Parks was known for being a black advocate.
If you're playing
Historically black person.
if you're playing like a historical Asian person, you're not gonna make them white.
right. If their
It's
race
fucking
is
anime.
Yeah,
Right.
If their
Suck
race
a
is a
dick.
part of who they are, you can't do it. But
Seriously, you're
It's just a
fucking
cartoon.
mad over anime. And what are you gonna say the entire time? Oh, this is whitewashing. Oh, this, and this, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. You're gonna keep watching anime because you're just gonna complain that it's not better than the anime.
exactly.
Well, but the anime is almost like the movie
but you're
equivalent of a book.
westernerizing or whatever, I guess would be the way to put it. It's probably just not a fucking word. You're making the Western version of anime. You're not. You're not making the Asian anime.
It's
You're making it
it's our
for
anime.
us. Joe had that speech about why there shouldn't be a black Santa. It's the same thing.
I love that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It sucks. Yeah, whatever. It fucking sucks. Okay.
It only sucks
Then
if you
go
want
somewhere.
it to.
So then download the Japanese version of it and fucking watch it.
That's
Yeah.
a
Read
really,
subtitles.
really good point.
Read your subtitles.
It's like Bollywood movies. You don't see Americans freaking out that there's a fucking Indian Spider-Man running around punching people, and it's a
Dancing.
complete knockoff. Like nobody gives a shit.
No.
The only people who care are people who want to fucking let it focus and ruin their day enough to where they have to comment. You have people picketing because there's a black stormtrooper. You have people fucking freaking out because Matt Damon's on the Great Wall making shit movies. The movie's shit. Why do you care that it's whitewashed? You know what you should be mad? If it's fucking Steve Aoki being portrayed by Matt Damon. Then yeah, maybe you should have a fucking problem with that because I would too. But no, it's a fucking movie with Matt Damon in it that's based on some story with dinosaurs attacking the Great Wall.
Really?
Yeah. Why are you mad? Like, be mad when you have the reason to be mad because what? The anime character is Asian? Yeah, okay. So when they do the live action Asian version, watch it. Don't watch the westernization version of it.
True.
Because that's what it is. It's not there to appeal to like these mass hysteria of races of people who are fucking freaking out. It's meant to make money. It's meant to make people watch it. Because if I don't know who the fuck is in it, I might still watch it, but I'm not going to be more tempted to watch it now I'm more tempted to watch it because my nigga Keith's in it. You see what see how I did that
Exactly.
earlier? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's dumb. And I think it's literally goes back into the racist thing. It goes into the gamer girl thing. It's only bothering you if you fucking let it.
It's only bothering
And
you
what-
if you want it to bother
And
you.
what you're doing is making people want to see it more. That's what people
Yeah.
don't get. The more you hate on it, the more it's going to be watched.
It just
sure.
perpetuates it. Kim Kardashian is famous because people hate her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
More people fucking hate her and are vocal about it than people who love Kim Kardashian.
Right.
And that's why she's
But
fucking
people
famous.
also love her out of just defending her.
yeah.
Out of just like, I hate her and it's like, I wish, like, no, I like that about her. Like, and it's just, you're right. Like, what else would you like about her? Because it's not like there's something to follow other than like emulating and wanting to be like. But it's like, then of course you're almost defending yourself when someone says they don't like her. They're like, excuse me, my girl Kim and I are the same person.
She only exists in the famous world to either be loved or to be hated. You're
Yeah,
gonna be
I don't
hated
know,
on or
man.
defended.
And it sounds, and you know what? I may be coming off and sounding like fucking just super like, like offended or offensive as fuck, but it's just the fucking truth.
Yeah.
It really is. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If it has something to do with the culture that much, then don't watch the American version of it.
Right. If you're gonna be a fucking purist, you know, download
like,
bootlegs, read your subtitles, and just
listen to
live your
how it
life.
sounds. I'm really into this Asian anime. The American version had Americans in it.
And
You're done.
They're wrong. They're wrong for doing that.
You're done.
You're wrong for putting Americans in the Americanized version of this.
Of course
I think
they
it's,
are.
and I think it's important to state too that like, because what it really comes down to is it's not for you. So like someone's an avid book reader and you read like you're super, super into this book series and all this kind of stuff. and then you go to the movie and you're like, well, fuck this movie, like, you know, the book was way better, which of course it always is, but that's because, like, it's not for you. It's for people that don't read the book. It's for people that, like, so it's like, if you're super, super into your anime and they make like you said, a westernized movie, then, like, it's not for you. You already like the subject matter. Right. You're already super into these characters. We're, like, doing this in a way based on, like, that stuff that you already like to make it for people who aren't going to invest, you know, 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Like, no, yeah, I totally see that.
Yeah, like, if you're in a clan route.
Hard turn.
So
you're not watching a movie about MLK. If you were to watch a movie about MLK, you would rather see Tom Cruise play Martin Luther King in that certain setting. What? Which is just a little bit of, like...
I'm not following.
Okay. My point is that I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't be done. Like, I don't really support the whole, like, Matt Damon thing, but I understand it's just a movie that was made.
Right.
Like, I think maybe they could have used an Asian person, and it should, honestly, and I'd have probably wanted to see it still. So, if you're a product of your environment. So, if you're in a situation where you are watching a movie and it's a clan rally, just to summarize that, it's a bunch of white people, you would rather see a white person play a black person on screen because it's something that you're used to. So you go to where you need to watch it in that truest form.
Right.
In this case would be watch the cartoon Death Note.
Right. Well, and in the same sense too, it's like when people complain that you watch a movie that's based in, like, Egypt, ancient times, or something like that, and everybody has British accents for no fucking reason. But it's like, if you're gonna complain about it, like, the reason that they do the British thing is that whenever it's a movie trope, it's a way to, like, kind of take you out of your culture and put you in something else. But, like, if you're gonna get that mad about it, watch an English rendition or a, you know, Egyptian version of this movie.
It's not even so much that.
Like,
name right now top 3 Egyptian actors in the game. Right now.
None. Nobody knows.
No.
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
And that's why they're not going to use an Egyptian fucking actor. That's why they...
And they're not going to speak Egyptian or whatever. Like, they're not going to speak the language the whole time, because then nobody will go see it.
This nigga Sam said, if Hilary Swank plays Rosa Parks, I throw up on my own son. You're telling me. But, like, yeah, I'm offended by it to that certain extent.
You just don't care enough to actually, like, fight people about it.
I'd care if it was comparing, like, historical accuracy or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gave a shit when that black chick from Harry Potter's was all of a sudden replaced by a white girl. I can't think of who the person is.
I still don't know what you're even talking about.
No,
in the movie, he said there was a black girl.
Yeah, in the book, she's like one of the only characters who was described basically as a black woman.
No, yeah, I know.
And she was like, I want to say her name was Tula. I think it was Tula.
Tula?
It's
Tulip or something like that. Well, I'll find her. She had more parts and was fucking replaced, and nobody cared. Nobody noticed or anything.
I mean, I only watched up to the 4th movie,
and I didn't give a shit either. That this little black girl couldn't make it to fucking movie 2.
True. Angelina Johnson.
Get your fucking game up.
That's the character name?
Yeah.
There was a girl in Harry Potter named Angelina.
Angelina
with
Johnson.
Luna and Hermione.
Yeah, Angelina Johnson, and she's black.
Yeah, Sam says it. These types of movies are meant to only attract American audience to make money. It's all about fucking money.
Right.
So shut up and take my money if it looks like a good movie.
Like, money is
put Khal Drogo in any movie
priority.
and I will fucking watch it. I will give you whatever I have in my pocket. I'm so excited for is it Justice League? We don't get an Aquaman standalone yet, do we?
No, it's 2019 for Aquaman, I think. 18 or 19.
Yep.
Well, we're approaching the last minute of our episode, guys.
Good job.
Yeah.
Darius won that one. Good job.
I have views sometimes, and sometimes they're good.
Squash.
If you guys didn't know, anybody listening, we're all wearing tuxedos right now.
It's true. Gotta keep it classy.
It's real butch on Julia, but
I make it work.
She makes it work.
It's true. Fierce. So.
Well, on that level, love, peace, and hair grease.
Yeah.
Bye.
We have been the Mixed Blend.
Flash. Ah. Save to the internet.
Da-da-da.